I'd like to call to order the meeting, regular board meeting of Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. Do we have any public comment? No? Hearing none, we will adjourn to closed session at 4:37. The board took no action in closed session. We will return to open session at 6:03. Oh, we're going to do language access.
Thank you. We have interpretation available through Zoom. We have ASL interpretation and Spanish interpretation. Buenas tardes. Tenemos interpretación al español disponible por si alguien gusta escuchar la presentación en español. Gracias. Thank you.
We'll now do the Pledge of Allegiance. If we can all stand, please, and face the flag.
Please stand and face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I already announced there was no action in closed session. We'll start then with the student board member report.
Thank you. Good evening. All right, so students enjoyed 2.5 weeks off for winter break, and we had a nice transition back to school starting last Wednesday. And we are now in the final stretch of the first semester with term 3 coming up on Monday. In other news, the Scholars Helping Scholars mentorship program with the Student Advisory Council is advertising in school news outlets, announcements, and college and career centers across our district's high schools. And we are looking to start receiving applications and selecting students for our launch this upcoming term. The we will discuss more about this in the following Student Advisory Council meeting next Wednesday. That is all I have for today. Thank you.
And now to the superintendent report. Dr. Maldonado.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Last Thursday, we had a principals meeting for our monthly meeting, and in that meeting, we had a short opportunity to discuss the impact of national politics on families, teachers, staff, and students, as well as its local impacts here in our community. In my 36 years in education, I do not recall a time when staff had to go to work and worry about the safety of students and each other as we do today. Watching the news out of Minnesota has been both heartbreaking and scary. We continuously live in times of uncertainty and unpredictability. Our shared purpose remains the same: keep our students and each other safe. I want everyone to know that we're committed to supporting everyone, especially our teachers and staff who are in the front lines, facing our families and students daily. None of us knows when something might happen, but we can be prepared by communicating and supporting each other continuously. Attendance has not dropped, which confirms that students and families continue to feel safe to attend our schools. They rely on our structures, on our consistent rules, and our deep care for their safety. During our principal meeting on Friday, we discussed the importance of taking the following steps. Make sure that we're checking in with each other in our perimeters of our schools, listening closely, creating space of care for both our students, teachers, staff, and one another, and continuing to review and follow our safety protocols every morning. These are unprecedented times, as I said before, and I just want to express my deepest gratitude to all our staff members supporting our students and families in the front lines. Now I'd like to invite our Executive Director of Elementary, Denise Alvarado, to present an update on our preparation for upcoming letters training for our elementary teachers and administrators. Board members, as you may recall, we are working on starting our cohort number 2. We have finished the trainer of trainers in our district, and now we can work together to provide the best and latest professional development on teaching kids how to read. Ms. Alvarado.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board, President Banning, Superintendent Maldonado. For those of you who may not know, LETTER stands for Language Essentials for Teachers of Reading and Spelling. And this update is about teachers as well as the professional learning we're providing for administrators. On the left-hand side, you will see some information about when we are beginning our second cohort. It will start on February 11th. And currently, we have 17 teachers that are interested. We have sent out an invitation before the break, the winter break. And it was also shared by principals, and principals have been asked to reach out to teachers individually to connect with them and invite them to participate. Before we shared with principals again, we had about 8, and so it almost doubled, but we're still at 17. Our capacity is 30. The Letters program, just as a reminder, is this overview is a 2-year commitment for teachers. It is taught by our SB Unified staff. Our coaches and ISSs have been through a training, intensive training, to be able to provide the professional learning in-house rather than relying on anyone else outside of the district to provide this. The program is 20 hours per unit times 8 units, so that's approximately 160 hours of reading, coursework, and professional learning embedded. There is a stipend provided for teachers that we were able to agree and commit to in partnership with with SBTA to provide a $500 stipend per unit times 8 units for a total of $4,000 for the completion of the 2-year program. This program, just to make sure we all know, is a structured pacing that must be followed. It can't just be all at once because it does require teachers to read, do some work individually, apply it to the classroom, get professional learning, and it continues as a cycle. Also, a unit-by-unit application in the classroom, as I mentioned, is fundamental to the success of our teachers getting that training in deep knowledge and understanding of how this works. Letters for Administrators is mandatory for all principals, all elementary principals. Myself, Director of EMLs, and Dr. Sonia Wilson, our Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services, will be also attending for the Letters for Administrators, as well as one of our instructional support specialists who has been supporting us in other areas for elementary. This is a 2-year program as well. It requires 58 hours of, again, professional learning coursework and reading that is independent. And then our training will be February and March for this year for administrators. And next year, we are going to work with principals to determine which 2 other dates to provide that professional learning that's best for the team. On the right-hand side, you will see a breakdown of the teachers by grade level that we have trained. As you recall, our goal is to get all K-3 teachers trained on letters. And so this is the breakdown. We currently have, you will see column number 2, the total number of teachers in that grade level, and the total who have completed the letters training for cohort number 1. So what this means, this table, is that currently we still have 73 more teachers that we still need to train on letters. We need to provide them with that opportunity. The total teachers listed here on this table does not include some of the cohort 1 teachers that were in upper grades 4 through 6, as well as coaches and ISSs that were trained. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Alvarado. Next, as you know, we've been working on a Collaborative Spirit Award. All year, we will be honoring teams in the district with this award. And this week, we want to recognize Ms. Gina Pierce and Mike Winger from ETS. Through their collaborative efforts, Gina and Mike created the Missing Work Report, a tool that gives students a clear, organized view of all their missing assignments across Canvas. Mike's technical development paired with Gina's hands-on work with students ensure the tool was both accurate and truly user-friendly. Their partnership has made it easier for students to stay on top of their learning, reduce stress, and take meaningful ownership of their progress. Their teamwork directly supports student success every day. And as you know, I want to recognize that Schools First Credit Union is giving us gift cards to the teams that are being recognized with this award, so they'll be receiving that next. If you see them, please thank them for all their great work. Lastly, you may notice our board meetings are sounding better. Hopefully you can tell. That's thanks to the hard work of Julio and our facilities team over the winter break. We installed a new audio system that is improving the presentations that we're providing here each week. We're still working on installing the system, so please bear with us if there are any problems that arise tonight. Thank you.
All right, that will move us into our public comment. I would like to follow up my comments from last time about our process with public comment. I want to offer a brief clarification about public comment's purpose and process. They're governed by Board Bylaw 9323, meeting conduct. First, let me be clear about intent. Public comment is a vital part of our meetings. It exists so members of the public can be heard directly by the board, and nothing I say tonight is intended to limit participation, discourage engagement, or privilege any one viewpoint over another. At the same time, the board has an obligation under the Brown Act and our own adopted bylaws to conduct meetings in an orderly, equitable, and consistent manner. Over time, our actual practices regarding public comment have drifted from what our bylaws describe, which has understandably created confusion for speakers, staff, and the board. Under our bylaws, public comment is structured around 3 minutes per individual speaker, a total limit of 20 minutes per agenda item, and clarification on that is there is a combined 20-minute limit for all non-agenda public comment, regardless of the particular subject. And the board has limited flexibility with consent to adjust time to equitably when warranted. So, for example, tonight we have, what's the number on public comment? 12? Well, 12, we're going to lower the time from 3 to 2 minutes. That still pushes us a little bit over the 24-minute time. And what I want to say here is that my goal is not to create abrupt changes in our process. Rather, it's to reset our expectations and to be transparent that we will be working openly and collaboratively to better align our practices with our bylaws. So expectations are clear in advance and no one is surprised in the moment. That work may include clarifying how the bylaws are applied and, if appropriate, considering future refinements to either practice or policy. Several good questions have arisen recently about speaker order, when time is limited, how written or remote comments fit in, how multiple topics are addressed, how the bylaw language on similar viewpoints is intended to work. These are all appropriate governance questions that deserve careful consideration, and we will work to do that. So, to be clear in closing, we're not finalizing new procedures this evening. Over the next several meetings, we'll clarify these issues with board input and transparency. For tonight, we'll proceed consistent with our posted agenda and current practices with the shared understanding that clearer guidance is forthcoming. I appreciate everyone's patience as we do this work thoughtfully and in good faith. Thank you for your engagement and for helping us keep this process respectful, accessible, and fair. So with that in mind, we'll start our public comment on non-agenda items, and we'll limit the speakers to 2 minutes.
Okay, so the first 3 speakers will be Kat Ross, York Shingle, and Kim Tilton.
Okay, thank you, Kat.
Hi, I'm concerned about the district's new forced dismissal policy, which is a violation of 3 California education codes. The first code, 46201, requires a minimum of 64,800 instructional minutes per year. By forcing students to take dismissals, we've dropped below the minimum for juniors and seniors. Students with 1 dismissal receive less than 56,000 minutes. With 2 dismissals, most seniors receive less than 48,000 minutes. Any non-full schedule violates the minimum instructional minutes code. The second codes, 46141 and 48200, require all students of school age be full-time students with a minimum school day of 240 minutes. When our students have 2 dismissals in their schedule, they're only in school for 180 minutes. That's not full-time. The third code, 51228, prohibits assigning students to periods without educational content without parental consent. Districts are expressly prohibited from removing courses to cut costs to the point that students can't take a full schedule. The potential fines for violating the first one was a total of $8.3 million for this school year. My guess is the district doesn't think they need to worry about that because the usual mechanism for penalizing a district is withholding apportionment. Santa Barbara is so wealthy, they use their own property taxes to fund the schools. What a system we live in where the wealthiest districts don't have to provide equitable education to all students. When poor school districts are able to have their students attend school all day with less money, why can't we? Students and parents, if you're assigned a dismissal period, but you want to be in school full-time, you should demand a class. Let your counselor know you don't want a period without educational content. If that doesn't work, file a uniform complaint, which is a written letter stating the district violated the law and then you want to take a full schedule of
Thank you.
classes. You are legally entitled to a full school day and a full school year. Ask for the education you deserve.
Thank you.
York Shingle.
Good evening. My name is York Shingle, SBTA President. I want to start by thanking you for starting bargaining early. We had a lot of proposals to benefit students and families, and it took all of those sessions to lay them all out and give the district time to figure out the costs leading up to this week's state budget release. So thank you for that earlier start date. Yesterday, Ashley Cornelius and I were informed that the district doesn't legally have to bargain a 7-period junior high day or the forced dismissals in high school. So they're not going to. It's not that they can't, it's that because they don't have to, they won't. So I want to be clear, SBTA and its members prioritize our students and family needs. We didn't ask for a salary increase until after we had all of our proposals that benefit students figured out with their estimated costs, because we want students to have a complete and complex learning experience from pre-K through high school. But your side of the table is saying we won't figure that out in a space where we have a voice and we have power. Instead of doing that important work in a space where we have to come to an agreement, you're shifting it to a space where you can listen to us but don't have to agree with us. That doesn't respect our members or our organization. But you have the power. So we'll wait and see how you want to try to solve the problems affecting our students by a 6-period day in junior high and forced dismissals in high school. We'll wait to see what solutions you'll come up with, even though you haven't until this point. And I hope you'll understand my reluctance with waiting for your action. When over a year ago, you made a commitment to our transgender students that you have yet to do anything about, or the commitment you made when we adopted an elementary curriculum and said we would make it more culturally and linguistically relevant. And we did that work for 2 years and then are now just turning it into a website. Those will be our next steps, is a refrain this community has heard time and time again without action, so it's hard for us to believe it. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim Tilton, and after Kim Tilton, it'll be Caroline Abate and Deborah Reed, followed by Charles Cloud.
Awesome. Good evening. I'm here tonight to talk about this disturbing news that I got from the last bargaining update about the concept that we're just not going to bargain things if they're not mandatory. I think about the hard work that my union leadership and teachers do every day to put kids first, and the work that we put in with looking at the 7th-day schedule, talking about what does it mean to change course takes, what do dismissals do for kids. We're putting in the work for kids. And we want to do that in a codified way where we're working as a team with our district leaders. And it upsets me that the route that is appearing to be taken is one where we don't want to bring it to the table unless we legally have to. That shows a complete lack of understanding of how critical our feedback is to any policy, any idea that's being discussed. How can you be at a budget meeting and discuss decreasing course takes without the people who know what that means? Counselors, teachers, master schedulers. to bring it to the negotiation table when it's not mandatory is to say that we know that getting feedback in an organized way that represents the whole is mandatory for good policy. And any policy you implement, once it hits the ground, boots running, the people who you need to give you feedback about it are us. So I understand that not all things are mandatory, but what I hope is that district leadership knows that good policy mandates that it gets negotiated with the people who are trying to solve these problems and the people who are going to implement them and the people who are closest to kids. So thank you.
Thank you. Caroline Abate.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you about the importance of freedom of speech and public comment. Freedom of speech means there is no fear of a negative consequence because of your ideas. For example, we all know there are many very valid, legitimate, common sense arguments in opposition to the current teaching of abortion and LGBTQ ideology in public schools. There are also rational and logical arguments in support of bringing biblical values and prayer back into our public schools. Among other topics, for example, teaching students the benefits of a merit-based free market economic system and the misery and failures of socialism. There must be a space for these ideas to be publicly heard. People can then use their intellect and free will to make a completely informed choice about what they would like to believe and what students should learn in school. Freedom of speech means that you are free to believe that your ideas will be judged based on their truth and their merit. And in no place is our precious, constitutionally guaranteed right to freedom of speech on more full and beautiful display than ordinary citizens speaking during public comment. Please make public comment a priority. A healthy democracy has abundant and frequent communication between voters and members of the elected office for whom they voted. Perhaps agenda items like recognition awards and student performances could be saved for a separate and special occasion. Thank you. Well, time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deborah Reed.
Sorry, I didn't have time to print anything. Happy New Year. California Education Code has established minimum annual instructional minutes for public schools. For high school students, that requirement is 6 hours a day. Assigning students to excusal periods places our district in violation of Ed Code and renders us complicit in creating an environment of inequity to educational access. Recent reports from Santa Barbara Unified's 2025 website indicate a high graduation rate of approximately 92 to 95%. What this figure fails to mention is that many of these students are meeting graduation requirements with a D in core content classes. As my students often note to me, D is for diploma. At many post-secondary institutions, the D may earn course credit. However, a C or better is required for prerequisite courses or major requirements. Following this practice, the D becomes functionally insufficient for progression. With this in mind, are we, SB Unified, legitimately preparing all of our students to meet the academic rigor demanded by colleges or vocational training programs? How does assigning excusal periods within the school day help to remediate below average skills? Assigning high school students non-instructional excusal periods removes opportunities for them to experience elective classes which are essential to the development of interpersonal relationships, growth mindset, creative expression, and vocational exploration. For individuals with the financial means access to transportation, and freedom of time, many of these programs are available through private lessons and community-based organizations. For students who may need to work to contribute to their family income, provide childcare for younger siblings, or commute home to the outlying, more affordable communities where they and their families reside, accessing enrichment classes during the school day is the only means of incorporating these opportunities into their schedules. Instead of assigning excusal periods which reduce academic and enrichment opportunities for our students, perpetuate inequity to access instruction, and bypass opportunities for skill remediation, please provide the legally required mandated 6 hours of instruction for our students.
Thank you. After Charles Clow, there'll be Joel Block, then Kate Lambert, then Shannon Jaffe.
And before we get started, we do have a time certain at 6:45, so as we get closer to that, we may have to push through to to time after that to complete closed session.
Charles Clow.
Am I audible? Righteous. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Charles Clow. I'm the Political Awareness Director of the Santa Barbara Teachers Association, and I've been a teacher in the district for 9 years. I spoke to you all a few months ago in gratitude for opening negotiations with us earlier than you had to. Doing so was not only prudent for solving problems, but was also a powerful gesture that spoke to your willingness to bargain in good faith. Recent news has cast a shadow over my earlier optimism. It's come to my attention that district negotiators are unwilling to bargain with teachers on anything having to do with bell schedules. That means the junior high 7 period day issue and the high school forced dismissal issue. This is concerning and confusing. I'm concerned because we as a union have put forth proposals targeted at both of these critical needs in ways that benefit students first. I'm a history teacher, and I'm unfamiliar with any labor negotiation anywhere at any time that involved workers attempting to work more in ways that align with management's purported goals and being told no. And it's confusing because I'm just not sure you all have thought it through. I'm not sure why you would try to offer to this community an inferior education than one its students might otherwise receive and one that its teachers are willing to offer. Who benefits from this? Certainly not families, certainly not students, certainly not those of you who are running for re-election this November. How will you campaign on this? We didn't have to, so we didn't? I'm not sure the community will be receptive to that. Just because you don't have to do something doesn't mean you shouldn't. Please step up and partner with us to constructively address these issues in ways that put students and family first, as our proposals do. Thank you.
Thank you. Kate Lambert. Oh, did I'm so sorry. I just didn't want to cut her. That's my area. That's okay. Joel Block. I got ahead of myself.
Won't take it personally. Good evening. Over the past couple of years, members of SBTA have been speaking to the school board and the district about the loss of trust between us. We, the teachers, made it clear that we felt underappreciated, cut out of important decisions, and that we have not had our concerns taken seriously. One expressed manifestation of that has been decisions by the board and district affecting teachers without much, if any, attempt to consult with teachers. I'm glad to say that I see this changing slowly at the school board level, and that relationship there seem to be improving. Unfortunately, that attitude and desire to change does not seem to have filtered down to district staff. Throughout the year, the board has heard many complaints about no 7th period, high school release periods, and open enrollment from teachers and the community. These were also brought up in negotiations this year between SBTA and the district. However, rather than be willing to discuss these issues, the district has made it clear that they were not required to discuss it with teachers or the community, and while they were working to solve these issues for students, the district would decide on its own. Essentially, it would say that it would announce policy and then wait for a reaction and input, which seems to be the worst way to implement policy successfully. It was made clear to teachers that even if the district asks what we think, it will only be done as a courtesy. That this is exactly the kind of thinking and response that led the SBTA last year to ultimately authorize a strike vote. Unless the board wants to undo all the progress it has made in trying to restore trust with the teachers and the community, I suggest it rethink its position and direct the district to involve all parties in negotiation and developing solutions to these issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Kate Lambert.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to first start off by talking about the forced dismissal. It's a safety issue. It's a safety issue for so many families, and I specifically work in the special ed department. It's a safety issue for families who need to have their students sort of guided in community activities, given boundaries. Those cannot be enforced when I'm behind doors working with other students and they are out in the community, okay? So if you don't have childcare, if you can't go home, are we going back to latchkey kids? It worries me. And we're not doing it just to seniors. If it was seniors and they had jobs or a sport or something that was specifically meant for that time slot, I could see how everyone in the community would feel safe with it, including the business owners near our schools, okay? But when we force it, that is just saying, we don't think you need more education. It's rude. I also would like to point out that if we're trying to build relationships and then we backtrack, like I know that at one of our staff meetings, our superintendent did come share that we could talk about changing the bell schedule. For us to then now hear no, or to hear we're not going to allow that to be negotiated, it just puts us in a relationship that we don't enjoy. And it makes it very hard to want to come share over and over again and not move our relationship forward. That was my hope, was to move us forward. Please consider that forced dismissal also means that I have a student who takes soccer, work ed, English. One academic class. Work ed meets once a week on Wednesdays. That's sad. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Shannon Jaffe, and after Shannon Jaffe will be Magda Barnes and Mark Nicholas, followed by a virtual comment. Shannon Jaffe.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Shannon Jaffe, and I've been a credentialed visual art teacher for the district for 19 years. I'm here to speak on behalf of elementary visual art, music, PE, and STEAM teachers, often called specials, but in every professional sense, regular teachers. We are fully credentialed educators. We teach state-mandated standards. We assess, grade student learning. We attend staff meetings, professional development, and fulfill adjunct duties. We are evaluated as teachers and held accountable as teachers because we are teachers. Historically, this district has recognized that fact. We have always been included under the same contract language as our general education colleagues. The proposal to change that now creates a two-tier system. One group labeled as full teachers and another implicitly treated as something less. That distinction is not only unfair, it is damaging. It undermines morale, weakens collaboration, and sends a troubling message to students and families about whose work is valued. It also places the district on a path toward costly and time-consuming arbitration that benefits no one. Arts, music, PE, and STEAM are not extras. They are state-mandated subjects essential to student engagement, equity, and whole child education. When you diminish the educators who provide those subjects, you diminish education itself. Before I conclude, I'd like to respectfully address the district administrators participating in this process: John Becchio, Sonia Wilson, Conrad Tedeschi, Denise Alvarado, and Kenya Edison. I ask you to consider not just these arguments being prepared, but the moral and ethical responsibility before you. You have the authority to stop arbitration by acknowledging what has long been true in this district, that elementary specials are regular teachers, and we deserve the same contract language. I urge you to make the decision that reflects fairness, professional respect, and responsibility, and a shared commitment to students. Choose collaboration over conflict, equity over division, and choose to affirm the educators who serve every child every day. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Mark Nicholas. Oh, sorry, I keep doing this. I'm new to this, Magda Barnes.
All right. Thanks, all. I have taught elementary through college. I'm currently at San Marcos High School. I was excited to get into the block system, and I found that I really like it, but was incredibly surprised to see groups of students wandering the halls, and was informed this is dismissals. that means a student does not have a class. Why? Because we can't afford it. We can't afford enough teachers and classrooms for students to have 4 classes a semester, 8 classes a year. I was also wildly surprised to see the top-down decision then that you made to make all the high schools with a block schedule when you can't even afford it at one. So, what does that actually look like, and what is a dismissal? Students are not in a class for 1 minute. Where they are, it's up to them. A principal in the past actually told them to get off campus during that period. At best, a third of students have a 4th period, also known as last period of the day dismissal, because of a sport. That leaves about 2/3 of the students wandering. Great students will use this time to catch up on classwork. Mediocre students will use that average of 80 minutes to play on their phone. Then we have a whole nother group of students who are in trouble, and that is a safety concern, as it was stated before. Let's find a solution. We are here to teach. They are here to learn. Why are they outside of class, not learning? It was suggested that they should use this time for community service, which is just not appropriate. How are freshmen, sophomores, and juniors who do not have a car supposed to leave for 80 minutes? Find that transportation, volunteer at most for an hour, and get back to class on time. That's just not going to happen. I ask that you put this in bargaining. If not bargaining, just make it a huge interest and a solution. Let's change this issue before it becomes a crisis. Let's not have a 4-way intersection that we have to wait until a huge accident happens before we put a stop sign in.
Thank you. Mark Nicholas.
Good evening. Credentialed teachers are given 45 minutes a week to plan their lessons. From a specialist perspective, it could be ordering materials and setting up the right amount for each student. For others, it's arranging music and rehearsals for multiple all-school performances. From TTA to 6, that's roughly 5 minutes and 37 seconds a week for each grade level. I currently come from a school site where our time is honored more than some of my colleagues. I can only imagine teaching multiple sites, taking on a dozen classes at one and 16 at another every week. Now, if 5 minutes and 37 seconds per grade level a week for preparing a lesson with high quality execution is unreasonable, imagine no prep time with the expectation of delivering the same standards and high quality teaching for their students. Again, I'm here asking you to take into consideration the passion, dedication, and sacrifices specialist teachers make for their students despite the circumstances they are put under. Specialists are required to be, or in the process of being, credentialed in our fields. We should be treated like regular teachers, and our time should be treated like theirs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have a virtual comment from Ryan McCullum. Is that person online? Okay, Ryan McCullum.
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Maybe a little bit louder.
Okay. Hello, my name is Ryan McCullum. I am the STEAM teacher at Santa Barbara Community Academy and Cleveland Elementary School. I am speaking tonight to advocate that the district provides elementary PE, art, music, and STEAM teachers with the proper amount of prep and PLC time based on our contract. This school year, my workload has more than doubled as I was split amongst 2 schools, a workload that was met last year by 2 full-time employees. While I am proud to serve so many students, I now have less prep and collaboration time than ever before, time that was vital to building interdisciplinary curriculum and supporting equitable learning with my colleagues. STEAM, PE, art, and music teachers develop their own curriculum, manage budgets, and prepare materials for 200 to 500 students, and provide experiences that truly reach the hands of every student on campus. We're also trusted adults who nurture their whole child and get to build relationships with students and be a safe space over the course of multiple years. Reduction in our prep and collaboration time make it harder to deliver the programs our students need. I respectfully ask the board to help preserve these vital elementary programs and the mental health of our elementary specialist teachers by supporting equitable planning and collaboration time as outlined in our contract. We are classroom teachers too, and our students benefit when we have the time and resources to create meaningful experiences, no matter which campus they attend. Thank you for your ongoing commitment to our students and teachers.
Thank you. That was our final comment.
I want to make a comment around the comments on the dismissals. We did receive, board members received emails on that this week, and I just want to ask our general counsel, is this something you're looking into, some of these concerns about Ed Code?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That will bring us to board member reports. We've got just a couple of minutes before the time certain. Anyone want to do their report real quick? Gabe, are you, yeah?
All right, I'll try and be quick. Yesterday, we had a CABA meeting, and I want to thank Mr. Vance, Dr. Becchiao, Dr. Wilson, Ms. Edison, Ms. Fernandez for being there. It was a really productive meeting. We are blessed to have Dr. Pettigrew as the chair of the CABA group, and she spent her time in December meeting with each of those folks to talk about each of their respective areas. Student and Family Services, HR, and Education Services. And these meetings were quite a while from what I heard, over an hour or so. It's really in-depth conversations, and we got to hear kind of about the discussion, so we got to read the notes beforehand, but it was also aligning the work, what is happening now, what are the opportunities in the future, and what are we working towards. And we got to ask questions, and it was a really productive conversation. So when we talk about, we heard today in public comment about the efforts put towards making sure that we have culturally responsive materials in our curriculum and the elementary space, that actually came up in conversation last night. And it's something that CABA in particular, but the district as a whole is not lost sight of. And I know this website has become a topic of conversation, but it's one that we're also having in the CABA space. We talked about counselors, we talked about recruitment and retention, and I just want to thank that group for all the hard work and the critical feedback that they gave. Dr. Maldonado, thank you for reiterating that we do have protocols, that we are conscientious of the fact that we have ICE in our community, and particularly on the east side, close to many of our schools and many of our families, and it is something that is top of mind for people. It's conversations that I know that we've been in constant contact over the last week since school started, and I would encourage you to continue to reach out to our partners and talk about the fact that we do have systems in place and that we are a resource for our families and our staff and the larger community. Letters training. Thank you to Ms. Alvarado for your presentation. I would make a request to President Banning and Dr. Maldonado that you discuss maybe an appropriate time to come back to us for a discussion on letters. We have a promising program, but I'm a little concerned, and I feel like my colleagues might share this concern, that not enough of our K through 3 teachers are taking advantage of the opportunity. And I'd like a discussion to talk about how do we make this a requirement rather than an opt-in type of program. The next piece, just something I heard in public comment, and I know that there was no harm meant by it, but I do want to caution us on our language about how we talk about our students. Mediocre students is not something that I think the way that we should be describing our students. I don't think that was the intention, but really understanding that it's us as adults and how we shape the environment on our school campuses that form the way that students perceive themselves. And I think when they hear us talking that way, it could contribute to a negative self-perception. And I also want to say I'm not losing that in the discussion of what you brought up in public comment. I'm hearing you about the dismissal periods and the block schedule. So last piece, I want to end on a positive note and just say congratulations to Carlos. he got accepted into Yale, his top school, and I just want to say congratulations, well deserved.
All right, we're going to move on to the time certain public hearing. Before that, I just want to note that Trustee Rose Munoz is not able to be in attendance here, so any of our votes on action items 4-0 will be a unanimous vote.
Okay. Good evening, Board President Banning, Superintendent Maldonado, Board Trustees. We are here this evening to discuss the renaming of San Marcos High School's Health Careers Academy in honor of Cottage Hospital's generous donation of $1.5 million and an agreement to provide ongoing support. Because this involves naming, our board priorities, our board policies require us to structure this item as a public hearing. So this is the public hearing this evening. I'm going to call Principal Dare Holdren up in a moment to present, and then there will be a time for public comment. In the public hearing, then board discussion. Because this is a public hearing, the board won't actually take a vote now. Instead, the contract itself will be brought up for approval on the consent agenda, and that's when the vote will happen. With that logistical explanation out of the way, I'd now like to call up Principal Dare Holdren to speak in more detail about these exciting opportunities.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Thanks for having me, y'all. It's good to see you. I'm excited to be here to talk about this fantastic project that we've been working on for some time. Is there a clicker around for the slides? Okay. We can go to the next one, then. Before I get started, too, I want to, well, I'll introduce her in just a second. So what we want to do is make sure that you have, and the community has some context besides how we got here, right? Because this has been a long project. In fact, when I walked in the door as the principal at San Marcos 4 years ago, there was a committee that had already been formed. And it was really born out of the COVID years, and the previous administration had talked about and thought about how do we help our kids, how do we help our community moving forward. And at the time, it was actually named the Building Wellness Project. And to their credit, and to your credit, and to your predecessor's credit, they had already created a structure where there was a partnership whereby the district would hold $5.5 million in bond funds, and San Marcos High School and the committee would raise $5.5 million more in order to build this Building Community Wellness Project. Now, the project involves the reimagining of the Wellness Center with a full rebuild and a reimagining of it as the hub of mental, social health on campus, physical health on campus. The other part of that was to build a mini campus for the Health Careers Academy, an academy that's been going on for 20 years at San Marcos High School that traditionally has largely been focused on nursing. So that it was an informal agreement, and eventually we brought forth an MOU that you approved, and we started to think more deeply about it. So we formed a committee, and then Dr. Maldonado, who has been incredibly helpful in this process, organized some listening sessions with the community to think about what careers we might want to expand into for our Health Careers Academy. I formed a programmatic committee to think about what do the programs look like so that we're not just building a building. And I do want to call out the folks that were on that committee. That was Ron Werft, Carol Williams, John Clark, Ginger Salazar, Steve Fellows, Yvette Giller, and Alan Price, as well as our staff from our school who were also incredibly helpful. Just people in the community that really were stepping up for us and have continued to step up. In fact, the next step, and it's number 5 on there, we hired a coordinator with the help of $30,000 each year for 3 years from the Bauer Foundation, and the same amount from Cottage. We are now in our 2nd year, and the person that was hired is here with me tonight, Emily Stokes, who is amazing and has done fantastic work. I also want to make sure I call out that Ron Werft and John Clark have been absolutely fantastic mentors to myself and really helped with this process. And they continue to help, although Ron is taking his vacations now that he's retired. One of the big things we did, and Emily will speak to this, is we identified a new curriculum that she'll tell you more about. It's called Project Lead the Way, and we'll be implementing it next year. We also got a lead donation of $1.5 million from the Methuen Foundation, and tonight we're here to hopefully approve and celebrate the Cottage Health naming agreement, whereby Cottage Health is going to provide us $1.5 million and, more importantly, partner with us with their expertise, and we are hoping to rename the Health Careers Academy the Cottage Health Careers Academy at San Marcos High School. Thank you. Right now, the building plans for all of this have been submitted to DSA, and we hope to and plan to break ground in June. So without further ado, I want to bring up Emily to talk more about the programmatic updates so that you're aware of all that's going on.
Thank you, Dare. Hi, everyone. Nice to be here with you tonight. So could we advance to the next slide, please? Thank you. So we're building a new building, but what's going to happen within those walls? I'll start with the programmatic changes. We're going to shift from focusing on one healthcare career, historically nursing, to focusing on multiple healthcare careers. And we're going to do that by turning the Health Careers Academy into a dual CTE pathway. This means we're adopting that Project Lead the Way biomedical science curriculum, implementing their 4 courses with honors level project-based learning to orient students to over 200 healthcare careers, and equipping them with relevant skills and knowledge they need to succeed in their preferred healthcare careers and their future education. The other side of that dual CTE pathway focuses on mental and behavioral health. So mental and behavioral health courses will be added to the required course pathway for all Health Academy students. And we're doing this because we want to address the prevalent mental health needs of our students, but we also want to prepare students with the skills and knowledge they need to take care of themselves, as I plan to take care of others in a field that is demanding, intense, and is burning current healthcare workers out. So we're hoping to be proactive in offering that to them. In addition to programmatic changes, operations of the Academy are changing. As of today, actually, we've already initially succeeded in expanding the Health Careers Academy. In the entirety of its existence, it's only ever been available to students 10 through 12 grades. But in October, we implemented an application. We reached out to the current 8th graders across the district, and we now have a really incredible pool of candidates to pull from for the first ever freshman class of the Health Careers Academy beginning in fall of 2026. We're hoping that this expansion into 9th grade will allow us to grow from our current number of about 160 students in total to about 400 by 2030. And then beyond that, we're continuing to partner strategically with our community partners, our local universities, and vendors to support students in getting internships and industry standard certifications. And so we're already developing those relationships. We're piloting those programs. We're going to have 10 students at organizations like YouthWell, Ferris Wong Endodontics, Cottage Health, Coroner, with internships in the spring, 12 getting their patient care tech or medical assistant certifications as well. And then overall, we just want to offer students more opportunities to engage, get to know one another, bond, and celebrate their hard work. And we're going to pilot an initiative with Direct Relief in their space in June so that students can present about their internships, certifications, invite their family, friends, community members. So we'll share that info once we have the details so you can attend too if you're interested. I'm going to pass it back over to Dare.
And I know Emily's a little hesitant to talk about it, but next year every kid who is a senior is going to have an internship, and it's going to continue on every year throughout the Health Careers Academy. It's obviously a lot of work, but that's what we're doing. So every kid will have identified, not really at that point they're not kids, right? Young adult will have identified the specific health career they want to get into, and will get an internship in that area, and they'll be as ready as they can be for a career, which will help with a lot of different things. And before I get to that last part, you got to update your software over there, UTS. I want to make sure I share some of the partners that have donated money, because tonight we're here to talk about Cottage, but I mentioned the Methuen Foundation, which is the John C. Methuen Foundation, because there's a couple of them, but they were very generous with their lead donation. We also have gotten $1 million from the Elings family, $200,000 from Bauer, $125,000 from Mosier. I'm not going to read them all to you, but I think they should be shouted out. Tim and Louise Casey for $100,000, Santa Barbara City College Foundation, Gene and Millie Simpson $100,000, Paul and Karen Menzel $50,000, the DeKine Foundation $25,000, the Santa Barbara Foundation $25,000, Katina, who many of you know, $20,000, $15,000 from Tobes. I'm going to stop there and just thank all of these folks for really believing in what we're doing. In fact, you saw it today on social media or yesterday. Westmont College is of such a belief in what we're doing that they're offering a guaranteed admission to any student who graduates from the Health Careers Academy with a 3.3 or above, and $15,000 minimum site-based financial aid. So I'm just so proud of the work that we've been able to do with this public-private partnership, and I think it can serve as a real model for us going forward. As you can see, we're at 10.36 raised out of 11 million being our goal. I have other people ready to fill that need, and I have no doubt that we're going to be making just a few more announcements here before groundbreaking, meaning we'll have all the money ready to go before we start the project. So, in regards to the project itself, obviously the financial investment, the buildings, it has to happen in order for us to do this incredible project. It's a workforce pipeline. As far as, we need to provide, and this is a huge goal I know of our district, we need to provide career opportunities for our students so they can live and work in Santa Barbara, like myself and Emily, who went to Santa Barbara High, have been able to do. And these health careers, these are well-paying, solid careers that these kids, these young adults are going to pursue and make a career and a family in Santa Barbara. And so I'm incredibly proud of that. We're also going to get to look under the hood at Cottage so that we know what do they want for particular positions and how do they train them. And in fact, we'll bring their trainers to us and we'll bring their instructors to us and vice versa. And it's going to create a powerful partnership. I really want to thank the CEO of Cottage, Scott Wester, who has been an amazing partner in all of this and is very excited for this work. And he has really helped deliver this for us. And Carol Williams, the head of HR, has also been a very key part for this, as well as their entire staff. Student opportunities, I already talked about. Community impact, we need healthcare workers, right? Santa Barbara is kind of a bubble, and we need folks in all different types of positions, and we're going to help produce them. Next steps, just so you know, we're working on strategic partnership mapping, and what that means really is we're working to get these internships for all these students. And so now that we have this program, people are getting on board. You heard from Emily some of the people we're partnering with already this spring. And then we're going to celebrate those students and those partners at Direct Relief, and they're donating that space to us. People are getting on board, and it's exciting. And we need to enhance that partnership network. So anybody who knows anybody who wants to help us place students, who wants to help build the future of Santa Barbara healthcare, San Marcos High School and the Cottage Health Careers Academy is going to be the place to go. So we begin construction in June. We launch Project Lead the Way next year, the mental health curriculum, and we're rolling. And I think I've said enough, and I've taken enough of your time. I appreciate y'all being here. And I know you can't ask questions now, but of course you can always reach out to me at any time for anything. So thank you for your time tonight. I appreciate you, and I appreciate our community and our partners for their support.
We have no public comment on this matter.
Do you want to open the hearing and close the hearing?
Okay, so we will open the public hearing on the gift and naming agreement with the Cottage Hospital. And are there any speakers? We will close the public hearing. We need a time on those, right?
It's okay.
Okay, we opened at 7:01 and closed at 7:02. How's that?
You can do the gavel too if you really wanted to.
How's that? Boy, this is fun. This job's more fun than I ever realized.
Did you want to ask questions or make comments?
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay. And we'll follow the protocols that we started out last week and just kind of go down the line.
So I have a question and comment. I'll start with a question. And
1 second, we're grabbing their back.
yeah, it's just I was like, what happened to Principal Holden? Okay. My question is simple. It's just I'm so excited about this. I understand you're opening it to 9th graders. I know a lot of times that science is really in high schools where students get very excited about science. They're exposed to a broader choice. And so I guess I'm asking and hoping that it isn't just closed. It just isn't just open to 9th graders in the future. That we always have some positions where 10th graders, 11th graders can join.
Yeah, how it's going to work is they're going to take, it's a 4-course sequence for Project Lead the Way. So you take one class, 9th grade, one 10th, one 11th, one 12th. And we actually took a team out to Pacific High School in San Bernardino to see it in action. And in fact, when I was at Solvang, I brought it in for my superintendent and I for K through 8. It's a very hands-on, experiential curriculum, and it's super exciting. What we need to do is we need to get our teachers trained. So we're getting 2 teachers trained this year, and then we're going to purchase the materials. So what we're going to do is basically anybody 11th grade, 12th grade or above, they're going to finish out the program they started already, the pathway. All 9th and all 10th grade students in our academy will take Project Lead the Way next year, the first sequence. So the 10th graders will eventually get through 3 of them because the plan is to add 1 each year as the students move up. We also want to get, and we obviously there's some other things to think about as far as our costs and our personnel because that program's not free. But we feel very confident that we'll be able to eventually offer it to even potentially kids outside of the academy. And it won't replace any of the sciences, although it could potentially, and that's something that we'll sort through. But it is honors level for A through G and locally. Which is exciting, and we want to offer that to as many students as possible.
Thank you.
Okay. No questions? No other questions? Eric, okay, well, we'll go back to comments. You've kind of gone on. Celeste, let's go ahead with your comment.
I just want to say thank you so much. What an incredible opportunity for our students at San Marcos, and thank you for your leadership through this whole project. Thank you, Dr. Maldonado, for your support. And I just think I love hearing this type of partnership with so many community members and how many people you've gotten involved. I mean, I can't wait to tour it, and it's hugely exciting, and I'm so happy that I come at the last second of this project and get to approve it. So thank you very much for all of your work.
Thank you.
No, Mr. Escobedo, no? Well, Carlos?
Just really quick, thank you for the presentation. And you know, I have peers in the program, and they love it. And especially, I wanted to mention the 2 specific things that I was really excited about with the mental health classes. I think that's amazing and super important, especially for now. And then also this guidance with internships. I know a lot of my friends and myself struggled with that kind of stuff, and having people there to really guide you is so important. So I think that's great. Thank you.
I'll finish up just with a repeat of the kudos and the congratulations on the excellent leadership, and how exciting to see that slide pop up with all of those folks on there, and what a really great thing for us to be celebrating, and can't wait to see how this rolls out. Thank you so much for the leadership.
I'll make my comment. So as you may know, I'm actually on staff at Cottage, and as a physician with them for 20 plus years, I've lost track a little bit. Cottage is very involved with the community. I'm very supportive of this naming opportunity and the fact that Cottage will continue to support this program moving forward. And healthcare workers work with communities. And as you know, they're your Little League coaches, they work in classrooms, and they serve on school boards. And so I think that this is a great partnership, and it just strengthens our community. So I do appreciate this opportunity, and I appreciate all these other donors who also contributed so much to this project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, our next item is a public hearing on the renewal of the Santa Barbara Charter School petition. Mr. Venz, are you going to introduce this for us? Thank you.
Good evening, Board Superintendent. Before we open up the public hearing, we'll be hearing from the Director, Laura Donner, about the school. Just a reminder, after this evening's hearing, we'll be doing a thorough review and analysis of the charter school with all the departments. And then the next step is we have to actually post a report on our recommendation as of February 9th. And then we'll bring the renewal to the last board meeting in February, and that's actually on the 24th. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Laura Donner.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Laura Donner, and I'm the Director of Education at Santa Barbara Charter School. I first came to Santa Barbara Charter School in 1993 to open and run the after-school program, and I've been here since as a teacher and now as a director, and I love working with children and their families in a school setting. We're grateful to you, the members of the school board, as well as the district leadership of Dr. Maldonado and Mr. Venz in supporting all students in our Santa Barbara community. We thank you for your continued partnership and ongoing leadership. Since our inception, we've been an indirect funded charter school, which means that our funding flows through Santa Barbara Unified. Starting in June of 2026, however, we will become a direct funded charter. We're working with the organization called Charter Impact and the county and district financial teams to ensure a seamless transition. In the charter renewal documents, you'll see a 3-year projection of our income and expenses in Appendix D. And we're confident in our financial position moving forward, including substantial reserves. Santa Barbara Charter School was a startup charter school, meaning that a group of parents and teachers developed a school out of an idea. In 1992, community members worked tirelessly to bring the idea of Santa Barbara Charter School to life. Out of more than 1,300 state charter schools, Santa Barbara Charter is one of the longest tenured in California. Since 1993, we've served children in a classroom-based setting, as well as families who want credentialed support to effectively homeschool their children. Our mission is to nurture the interests and build the skills of both students and their families in the arts, academics, and relationships. Social justice is a critical component for all schools. Our classroom teachers further develop and regularly teach curriculum in alignment with the social justice standards from the organization Learning for Justice. We have a robust multi-tiered system of support for students with academic, social, and behavioral needs, and have hired and trained wellness coaches this year. Certified wellness coaches provide a range of preventative non-clinical services that support the mental health and well-being of children. Our students continue to do well on both standard and non-standard assessments. Our school is small by design. Our enrollment is approximately 285 students, with about 60 students in our TK through 8th grade home-based partnership independent study program, and about 225 students in our kindergarten through 6th grade classroom-based setting. Enrollment is a lottery-based with priority for students who live in the Santa Barbara Unified Elementary District attendance area. And we have a diverse student population. We have 12 different home languages spoken by our students as well. Our school was founded by parents and teachers in partnership, and we continue to be a caregiver participation school. Homeschooling parents have always found excellence and effective educational support through our home-based partnership. And student voice has a formal structure at Santa Barbara Charter School with our representative Student Alliance Group. We also staff and run our own before and after school program with guaranteed spots for all Santa Barbara Charter School students. In the past 5 years, we've fortified our commitment to inclusion, equity, access, and diversity by working with national consultant Sarah Wick, who helps all staff identify their personal growth trajectory in these areas. Our school-wide conflict resolution program for TK through 8th graders sets students up for success throughout their lives with communication and listening skills. And our students learn to stand up for others. We're proud of our commitment and ability to support all students intentionally and holistically. Every classroom has an instructional aide for 25 hours a week who works collaboratively with the teachers in support of the students. Many aides are bilingual in Spanish and several have advanced degrees. We support our emergent multilingual learners with targeted instruction in English. And we have a full-time MTSS teacher as well as special education teachers and specialists who serve the needs of our students with learning difficulties. We excel at providing individualized attention for our students. Smarter Balanced test scores are one data point that demonstrate how well our students perform. We meet the criteria for a high-performing charter school as set by the state of California. In addition to formal testing and screening tools, our teachers use multiple measures to assess student progress and inform caregivers about next steps, including observations, interviews, work samples, and teacher responses. Our students continue to make progress annually. We monitor and address growth and can make adjustments quickly. For example, in the 24-25 school year, our teachers spent time developing smaller math groupings for 4th and 5th grades to ensure more individualized instruction. And this year, we increased staffing in upper grade math classes to better meet those individual needs. Due to our small school size and even smaller numbers of students in the various subgroups, we can sometimes see a wide variability in scores when comparing them year over year. We are grateful to have an experienced and dedicated science specialist who supports the teachers with curriculum mapping and instruction. In order to support students in multi-age classrooms, our science curriculum is taught on a 3-year loop, teaching next-generation science standards with a focus on phenomena. Each teacher, in conjunction with our science specialist, ensures that the lessons are effective, engaging, and accessible to all. This fosters collaboration among our teaching teams and builds deeper content mastery for our students. The child's role as a student is to be an active, curious, and engaged learner who takes ownership of their learning, participates in a respectful and inclusive community, and explores their interests through creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking. As progressive educators, we believe every child deserves to realize their potential, whether or not their needs and accomplishments can be measured and met in a conventional manner. We're grateful to have educated children in the community for the past 33 years and look forward to serving children and their families for many years to come. Thank you.
We do have public comment on this. So we have, how many? 8. We will, we'll allow 2 minutes per comment on this, and then once that's complete, we'll open the public hearing.
Actually, the comments are the public.
Oh, sorry. So we're opening the public hearing at 7:15.
Okay, there are, the first 3 commenters will be, I believe this is it Leita Tolentino, Donna Romani, and Caressa Stevenson. So I apologize, Leita Tolentino?
Leda.
Leita Tolentino.
Greetings. I hope you had a nice start to the year. I'm Dr. Leda Tolentino, the proud mother of 2 Santa Barbara Charter School students. Marcio, age 9 and currently in 4th grade, and Alma, age 5, who began kindergarten this year. Having recently transitioned from another institution, I am delighted to share that my children are thriving at SBCS, particularly due to the school's commitment to the arts as a discipline in its own right. Psychologists and educators have long recognized the visual and performing arts as essential conduits for authentic self-expression, an increasingly vital capacity in a world where young people face mounting social pressure to conform. More recent findings reveal processes through which artistic engagement supports mental health and overall well-being. Each time a young mind paints, constructs, plays music, dances in synchrony, or engages in dramatic play, it gains an opportunity to connect more deeply with itself, with others, and with the natural world. Arts education is not merely curricular enrichment, it is a powerful vehicle for authentic expression, social connection, and even spiritual elevation. The SBCS curriculum emphasizes materials-based learning while integrating multicultural artistic traditions and science education. For example, last year, Marcio's third grade class learned about soap making and tomo canoe building by the Chumash, weaving together social studies, chemistry, botany, sculpting, and painting through the lens of the region's indigenous peoples. As a multicultural family composed of several racial and ethnic backgrounds, we value a holistic and inclusive education that prepares our children to become culturally competent global citizens. In sum, as a charter school, SBCS has effectively leveraged its autonomy and expertise to offer meaningful opportunities for students, teachers, and families. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Thank you. Donna Romani.
Good evening. Thank you for your time tonight. Santa Barbara Charter School has been a foundational part of my family's life for many years, and I've seen firsthand the lasting impact of its mission to cultivate learning through arts, academics, and relationships. Both of my sons began their educational journeys at Santa Barbara Charter. My older son is now in 8th grade at Goleta Valley. He's thriving in middle school, straight A's, strong relationships, outstanding citizenship marks. That's what I'm most proud of. He's a thoughtful, engaged young person who approaches challenges with confidence, qualities that are a direct result of the strong academic, social, and emotional foundation he received at Charter. And my younger son is in 5th grade, where he continues to grow through opportunities that intentionally push him to raise his own expectations for himself. As a 4th grader, he was encouraged to participate in the county spelling bee, and let me tell you, that is well outside of his comfort zone, but one that he ultimately embraced and he's extremely proud of. And now as a 5th grader, he's participating in Math Super Bowl and genuinely enjoys being challenged and engaged through learning opportunities that are thoughtfully tailored to his individual needs. In addition to being a parent, I've had the privilege of serving the school community in leadership roles, including 2 years as president of Parent Alliance and 4 years in Circle of Trustees, 3 of which I served as president. Through this service, I've worked closely with the school's leadership and faculty and have consistently seen their deep commitment to students, families, and the integrity of the school's vision. Santa Barbara Charter School offers an educational program with both breadth and depth, honoring different learning styles and multiple types of intelligence while fostering curiosity, creativity, and strong relationships. As both a parent and a school leader, I'm a strong advocate for charter school because I've witnessed its long-term impact. Children who leave the school not only academically prepared, but socially confident, emotionally grounded, and ready to engage with the world. I'm deeply grateful for the role that charter school has had in my family's life, and I continue to support it in its future success. Thank you.
Thank you. Caressa Stevenson, who will be followed by Adriana Rodriguez, Justina Weinbender, and Margaret Kwan. Caressa Stevenson.
Good evening, and thank you to the board for your time and consideration for the Santa Barbara Charter School. My name is Caressa Stevenson, and I'm a mother of a 5th grade student. I'd also like to express my gratitude to the Director of Education, Laura Donner, for her leadership, along with all the teachers and staff for their dedication and for their work in preparing this charter renewal that you guys are reviewing for them tonight. Santa Barbara Charter School has surpassed all our expectations for what a school can offer. Stepping onto the campus, you can immediately sense the love and pride poured into the environment. From hand-painted murals and sensory gardens to the tree walk and other campus treasures, it is evident that it's a well-cared-for community designed for children to thrive. This is made possible through a cooperative approach that involves parents and staff in the community. Parents are encouraged to participate in volunteer opportunities and leadership roles through the Parent Alliance and Circle of Trustees School Board, which also serves as a model for children to understand the importance of education and community service. The teachers at Santa Barbara Charter School are some of the most passionate and dedicated educators. They genuinely care about the students and are willing to go the extra mile to ensure that each child is taught and cared for in the most appropriate developmental way. The teachers have proactively identified my child's needs and have provided the necessary support to ensure they are advancing. The school and staff have gone above and beyond in providing the resources and assistance to help my child succeed. The school's conflict resolution philosophy has empowered my child to communicate and articulate their wants, needs, and concerns effectively. This has allowed me to reflect on how I can better approach situations. I'm proud to know that my child is learning boundaries, respecting themselves, and developing the skills to advocate non-confrontationally while recognizing the dignity of others. The social and emotional skills my child has gained while attending SBS are unparalleled, and our family has found Santa Barbara Charter School to be a truly special place we feel fortunate to be a part of, and I would wholeheartedly recommend it to any prospective families. Thank you so much for your consideration and time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Adriana Rodriguez.
Is it all right that she speaks in Spanish tonight? Wonderful, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Hola, buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Si gusta hacer su comentario, yo lo voy a interpretar.
Sí, gracias. Buenas noches, mi nombre es Adriana. Tengo un niño
Good evening, my name is Adriana.
en quinto grado de la escuela Santa Bárbara Charter School.
Good evening, my name is Adriana, and I have a child at Santa Barbara Charter School.
Vengo a decir que es la escuela, siempre me ha hecho como sentir como en familia, siempre. Y
And
ahorita,
I just wanted to share that that school has always made me feel welcome and like part of the family.
y ahorita quiero especialmente hablar del programa Después de Escuela.
And right now I want to speak specifically about the after-school program.
Siempre me han hecho sentir con confianza de dejar a mi hijo. Como madre soltera puedo terminar mi trabajo a gusto, tranquila.
They've always made me feel comfortable leaving my child there. As a single mother, I feel like I can finish my workday and allow my son to stay there.
Especialmente la directora Brenda Nájera, siempre me he sentido con la confianza de tener que ella me ayuda siempre en español, en inglés.
And also the principal, Brenda Nájera, she's always made me feel welcome and she helps me in Spanish.
Mi hijo siempre está hablando de ella, siempre está hablando de la escuela, de todas las personas que le han ayudado en el programa.
And my son always has really positive things to say about the school and the people that help him in the program.
Y nada más quiero decir gracias por el programa y espero seguir en eso.
So I just wanted to say thank you for that, and I hope to continue to be at that school.
Es todo.
That'll be all. Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you. Justina Weinbender.
Hello. I've been a teacher at Goleta Valley Junior High School for the past 29 years. We share our campus with charter school. I'm an English teacher there. I've seen charter kids come to junior high with a stronger likelihood to be kind and curious, actually interested in the learning. My daughter, no surprise, we sent there too. She was there from kindergarten through 6th grade. I came into each of her classrooms every week because that's one of the charter school things. And I got to see the teachers, I got to see the students, I got to see the dedication and the expertise of our teachers, and they're also unique and talented. And I got to see the way the kids interacted with each other and with their teachers. My classroom actually butts up against the playground of charter. And so every day I see the kids walk by my room, play on the playground and do their PE stuff, do their different activities. And I see the camaraderie that the staff has amongst each other, their care for the kids and for each other. My daughter is now in college, and I still get asked every week, hey, how is Gracie? They care. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Margaret Kwan, followed by Joel Block, and a virtual speaker, Tanya Jacob. Margaret Kwan.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your time here. I'm the mother of two children, a fourth and second grader who are thriving at Santa Barbara Charter School. There are many kids who, like mine, fall into sort of an educational gray area, children who need supports and accommodations but don't meet the criteria for an IEP. And Santa Barbara Charter School's dedication to holistic education and social-emotional education, in addition to academics, provides this unique environment where kids like mine can thrive when they otherwise might fall through the cracks. The school and the teachers make it a point to know every student individually, not just by name, but by their interests, and to know each child so that they can encourage their unique needs, encourage their strengths, and provide nurturing for areas where they need more growth. And this individual attention allows them to identify and implement strategies really quickly that adapt the learning space to each different child and meet them where they're at. Signs of this philosophy can be seen in the classrooms themselves, where kids who are feeling flooded can retreat to quiet corners, calm spaces, where they can feel safe and comfortable without leaving the learning environment, and sensory tools and different seating options for kids who need to move or fidget in order to stay focused without impacting the learning of the students around them. Being able to contribute to the classroom and observe my children in the classroom, and also the open communication I have with the teachers, makes me feel like I'm a member of their educational team rather than an adversary fighting to get them support. And they don't just support my children directly, they support me, helping me learn more about what my children need and be a better, supportive, more supportive parent. Santa Barbara Charter Schools focus on developing good people, not just good students. And this environment that has taught my children to love learning and to feel confident and accepted and secure is evidence of the importance of Santa Barbara Charter Schools' ongoing presence in our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Joel Block.
Hello again. So I rise tonight to express my support for the renewal of the charter of Santa Barbara Charter School. You've already been presented with and heard the data and statistics as to why SBCS overwhelmingly qualifies for renewal, but I want to speak of those intangibles that cannot be so easily quantified and placed into statistical categories. Santa Barbara Charter School is a place of growth for students, parents, and teachers. I taught at SBCS for 13 years, and it is that experience that has shaped who I am as a teacher, a community member, and a person. Now, one way that has been used to judge the quality and reputation of a school, particularly one of choice, is by those who choose to send their children there for an education. When I taught at SBCS, one measure of a school by the state was the education level of the parents. At the time, SBCS was placed in the highest possible category in this regard. One of the parents of one of my students was a Nobel Prize laureate. I must tell you that as a teacher, a one-on-one parent-teacher conference with a Nobel Prize laureate is a unique and challenging experience. But it was not just the effect the school had on me that I most appreciate. My son, early in his school life, had some difficulties with socialization. He then attended charter school, where he was completely accepted, made great friends, learned how to succeed, and matured quite rapidly. Today, he is a senior assistant district attorney in the state of Washington. At the charter school, students learn how to think for themselves and to be an active, caring member of the community. All school districts need a place for students who need a place different than the standard public school. While all schools should adhere to the requirements of the school district, some students require a place outside the main school that provides for them and their parents a safe, welcoming, non-standardized community. SBCS fills that need, and its charters should be unilaterally renewed. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have our virtual commenter, Tanya Jacob, online? Tanya Jacob.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tanya Jacob, and I am a Santa Barbara Charter School parent and mom of 3 children, 2 of whom are currently in 4th grade at the charter school, and my oldest is now in 8th grade at Goleta Valley. All 3 of my children have been part of the charter school community, and our family has been part of the school for nearly a decade. And we chose the school intentionally for our oldest child and continued enrolling our younger children because the school's care and emphasis on relationships, community, the arts, and the whole child has been felt consistently over time. Over the years, I've seen the school work closely with parents and staff to shape a shared vision around inclusion and belonging, and then brings that vision to life in thoughtful, age-appropriate ways. I was also involved in some of the DEI planning work, and what stayed with me was how intentional, collaborative, and educational the approach has been. The focus has been on learning and growth over time for students and adults alike, rather than reacting in the moment. That work shows up in very real places today. It's in the curriculum, the classroom libraries, in ongoing staff learning, and in how students are taught from the earliest grades through 6th grade. Younger students begin with kindness and belonging, while older students learn how to be allies and advocates. My oldest child was academically strong throughout his elementary years at charter school and continues to be a straight-A student in middle school. But just as importantly, he is confident, thoughtful, and socially aware. I'm seeing that same confidence and awareness grow in my younger children as well. As a longstanding parent, the consistency between the school's dedication to its students, its core values, and what I see reflected in my children is exactly why we chose Santa Barbara Charter School and why we continue to believe in its direction and vision. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And that closes comments on this public hearing.
So we'll close the public hearing at 7:34 and give the board an opportunity for any clarifying questions or comments. Any? Okay, seeing none. Oh,
I just have a comment. I mean, I appreciate hearing the comments from the people who spoke tonight that gave us a fuller idea of all the things that are outside of the statistics. So thank you for your comments.
and I'd just like to clarify our next steps here. We have, we'll be returning on February 9th with a report from our staff on it, and the potential board meeting approval on February 24th. Is that correct? Okay. Thank you for the members of the Santa Barbara Charter that came and spoke tonight. We appreciate your involvement.
You already closed it. You already closed it. Yeah. Yes.
Well, we can do that now.
All the non agenda done. Did you get 3-9? The first part you got through. Sorry, let me look at.
No, what she's saying is that we didn't finish the board member comments.
Oh, got
So
it.
should we do that now?
Yes,
Go back to
yes,
that
we
and
go
then,
back to
okay.
that part
Okay.
of the agenda. Just clarifying that we got through the other one. Got it.
E2,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just doing a little agenda management here. We finished through E2, and we're going to move back to the board member reports. You'll recall we heard from Trustee Escobedo, and that'll give the other board members an opportunity to do their reports. So either of you ready? Okay. Dr. Beal.
I actually don't have anything specific to report, but I did want to make a comment. We had a lot of speakers on non-agenda items, and one of the things I noticed that was stated is a dissatisfaction with placing items in the contract as they are non-negotiable. At the same time, people were talking about policy. And I feel that a point of clarification is negotiations is about a labor contract. And then there is school policy. So I want to be clear as board members, we are very supportive of our priorities, and we are supportive of having discussions to move those priorities forward. Some items do not belong in a labor contract. We can put them into policy, we can have outcome groups, and we can all work towards the same thing. It does not mean that the board is not supportive of some of the things that were mentioned. That is not what we are trying to say. And so I would like the discussion to be about how we are all working together. You've heard about our attempts at governance. We did form these priorities, and it takes time to start this change. And I would like to see that as a community, we begin to trust the work that each side is doing. I'm actually a union employee at Santa Barbara, at UC Santa Barbara, and there are things that I never want to see in my contract. It doesn't belong in the contract. And so just to be clear about the difference between contracts and how this district chooses to conduct itself in terms of our goals for our students and our educational outcomes. We are, as a board, very committed to our students and their educational outcomes, and that they have a good experience in this district. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Caffrey.
Hello. I just want to say Happy New Year, everyone. And I'm looking forward to a collaborative year working together on behalf of our students. I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary on the board, and it's the new year. So as we do, I have been reflecting on the past year and also making resolutions for the coming one. I am lucky to have a former superintendent who's worked with many highly effective boards as a mentor, and he recently told me something I wanted to share, that the board is really responsible for setting the weather for the district, the tone, and that matters a lot. I think President Banning, he has also said very similar things. So I'm looking forward to clear Santa Barbara weather, you know, when it's always 70. But yes, good weather in the coming year, working together and common steady leadership by the board. In the coming years, but that we continue to improve our governance practices and our efficacy on behalf of students. And so I look forward to a productive 2026. And for everyone who's here, not many people are left here, but for anyone who's still watching, I wish you all health and joy in the new year. And I look forward to working together.
Thank you. I just have a couple of comments. I wanted to acknowledge that yesterday we held an additional meeting of the Finance Committee, and it was a really productive meeting. All members were in attendance, and that's always a good thing. I wanted to provide kudos to Mr. Tedeschi for an excellent in-depth presentation in regard to first interim budget that clarified a lot of things for members of the committee, and also community member Todd Voigt, who had spent some individual time preparing some data in regard to general and administrative expenses that helped shed some light for the committee. Also wanted to acknowledge that all members were invited to attend a workshop that's going to be presented by the Capital Advisors Group on the governor's January state budget, which has just been released. That's happening at the County Office of Education next Friday, and I know there'll be a couple of members of the committee. I will be there, and I'm sure Mr. Tedeschi will as well. So it was a really productive meeting, and we're going to meet again a week from today. It's a busy time in the budget cycle in finance, and it's a brand-new committee trying to really make the best use of their time, and I felt like our meeting yesterday was a really good one for us moving forward. Other than that, those will be my comments. We also, then moving on from comments in the agenda, we skipped down to the public hearing, but we also had the next item on the appointment of board representatives and alternatives to committees. So I'd like to take that on, and perhaps then we can do a break before we return, or we'll see where we are at that point.
Yeah.
So we'll do this. We heard from some committee members, and so I'm just going to kind of walk through, if you have that document, and we'll have to, anyone is invited if they're interested in continuing. So we'll just go down the list. The Audit Committee, Trustee Caffrey and I make up that committee with Mr. Tedeschi. We're proposing to keep that the same for 2026. There is some question about whether it might be integrated in with the Finance Committee in the future. The Special Education Advisory Committee, currently Dr. Beal is the representative on that committee, and she has expressed an interest in moving off that committee if someone else wants to do it. Celeste, you had mentioned it, Trustee Caffrey. I don't see that we had a backup, but maybe how can we work on that? Yep.
I feel that I'm not trying to move off of the committee. I know that Celeste Caffrey has a great interest in special education. She's a very strong advocate. So I'm very happy to be her backup and to be involved in any activities of the Special Education Committee.
Hello. I don't know why this. Can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear myself. What's going on? But I'm wondering, can we both serve on the committee because it's not a quorum if Trustee Beal is interested, or is that not an option?
I don't think there's a problem with that. I think in terms of the assignment, we can label a primary and a backup, but I don't see any reason that two people can't attend a meeting.
That would be my preference.
Okay.
If that's good.
I think just we would do a primary and secondary so that the members of the committee would know whom they could go to first, or who the consistent person would be.
Next committee is Sustainability, currently Trustee Escobedo and Munoz.
It works for me, but I have been on the committee for many years, or for at least a couple of years, and have never attended a meeting. So I don't know if it's an actual committee, and if it's not an actual committee, maybe we disband it.
So that is true that we have not had any, and we did use this committee a long time ago with the solar panels and all that work. So I would agree that we really don't need it. If issues of sustainability were to come up, we can always reconvene a group and bring that back to the board. So I would agree with you.
Okay, so we'll put that committee on hold.
Freeze.
And if there is a meeting, Mr. Escobedo, I understand you'd be happy to be part of it.
Correct.
Okay. All right. The next one is the DEMLAC, District Emergent Multilingual Learner Advisory Committee. Currently, Trustee Munoz is on that committee. Dr. Beal, you have identified yourself as a second on that committee and indicated that there was a question about more than one attending to that.
I think it's the same confusion. If I remember correctly, I was appointed as the backup, although it's not listed there. I would actually like to attend the DEMLAC meeting, so if it could be the same sort of method in which Celeste and I are supporting each other at SAC, I'm happy to also participate in DEMLAC. Why
don't we formalize your backup position and say that there's no reason that both of you can attend?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. The Santa Barbara County Committee on School District Organization, Trustee I'm sorry, the Housing Committee, Trustee Escobedo and Munoz. interested in staying on?
Yes, please.
Haven't heard anything from Rose. We'll assume, was she set to be a backup, or was both of you on that committee?
We're supposed to both be on it. She's been absent for the last few, so I don't know if we have another board member that's interested in that committee, but I do know Ms. Munoz has an interest. Maybe we can.
Well, let's get her back and see what we want to do. I'll leave it as it is currently,
Yeah.
but if there's some changes, we can look at it
That's fine.
at another time. The Santa Barbara County Committee on School District Organization, this is Trustee Caffrey is assigned to this role. It never meets, but we have to have somebody on it. That, I shouldn't say it never meets. It is a committee of citizens that represent the different counties throughout Santa Barbara, and they only meet in relation to changes in school district boundaries, for example, or changes in trustee areas. And so the committee has members that meet, even recently has only met once a year because they have to for an organizational meeting. The only reason that a board member from Santa Barbara would meet is if it was something that affected us, either a boundary change abutting us or a trustee change within it. So it's not a likely meeting. We just have to have the name put on. So are you interested in keeping on that really busy committee? Okay.
As long as no one else wants it.
All right. Next is the Santa Barbara School Boards Association meeting committee. That's 5 meetings per year. And I think we've missed the first one already. That's Rose is assigned there, and I have been her backup. I have not attended as a backup. It's one that I would have interest on, so I think I'm going to suggest we just keep it that way, and maybe we can do the same thing. The Santa Barbara Education Foundation meeting, I have been on as for a year as the primary representative and Sunita as the backup. We've had several occasions where we're both there. I'm interested in continuing on that committee, and let's just leave it the way it is. Okay. Next is the South Coast Tax Youth Committee Partnership Policy. Is that another one of those where we have people assigned but they're not meeting, or? Oh,
can I get an invite to those?
So I'm going to ask Ms. Edison, just to be clear, there's a policy arm, and then there's a strategic plan, the arm to this committee. Am I saying that correctly?
There's 3. There's the policy team, there is the community engagement, and then there's the strategy team.
Which team am I on?
Well, it says the policy, policy committee here.
And I just presented there last week. You were not there, board members.
Can I get an invite to the next one?
Okay.
I see the dates here. I just need to know where.
Oscar Gutierrez is the chair for it, and he's responsible for facilitating the meeting, but I can follow up and make sure you guys are on it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And I've been listed as the backup. That's fine with me continuing. Adelante Charter School and Santa Barbara Charter School. Sunita is currently serving Adelante Charter, and Rose at Santa Barbara Charter. I'm the backup to Dr. Beal. But one of the things that we're asking about this is that we've been going to their board meetings and sitting and listening, and it seems like not of much use. And what we've kind of discerned is that this may have been set up as a board member liaison to the school that was never really intended to be somebody to sit on the board meetings. So what I'd like to propose is for those two to assign people that are there, and the liaison probably should just be based on go and meet with the principal or visit, and just have them know that you're somebody they can reach out to. So with that in mind, I'll also say that I don't see a similar position for Peabody Charter. So what I'd like to do is ask for us to clarify this and bring it back and make sure that we know who's going to be on there, but to understand that it's not the intent to sit as board members or even to observe the board meetings. The Counselors AXA Committee, this was something that Dr. Beal was on
It was actually, there was an intent to have a board member on the committee, but It didn't quite work. So I have not been attending meetings, and we will disband my position from that committee.
And was that one, if I'm not mistaken, that was added to our list last year?
It was added because it was kind of an informal arrangement that was with another board member. We tried to formalize it, but then there wasn't really a space for it to be a formal relationship. So both sides, we just felt that it was better for to not continue in that.
So we say that we'll remove that from our list, is that, okay?
That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
Correct.
You skipped legislative affairs.
I did. Legislative affairs, that's Dr. Beal and I on these. And again, have we had meetings?
It's kind of an ad hoc committee. If we want to promote something, we should. And so I'm happy to continue.
Okay.
I think for this one, we can also think about this one as a committee that we maybe try to say like twice a year to just look at current policy or new policy and go through a list. I mean, we get updates all the time of new policies, but it might be something, or proposed bills. It's really more proposed.
It's really about bills as opposed to policy. Well, bills that become policy, right?
Correct. And I feel that if there are things that are proposed that we would like to support as a district, that, you know, we act as the people who try to promote that and be ambassadors for trying to get support for that in the community.
So it sounds like we will call it as needed, as appropriate, we'll call our meeting. Okay.
And then the last one is the Committee Advancing Black Achievement, Wellness, and Excellence. That's Gabe and Rose. You interested in staying on that, Gabe?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think that absent confirmation of Rose's positions and some of those things on the charter schools, we've got that taken care of. Thank you for the board members that reached out with those preferences. That made this an easier walkthrough. Thank you. And that brings us to a readiness, I think, for report discussion items. Are we missing anything else? Do we want to take a break? Yeah, so what should we, 5 minutes, 8 minutes?
Or do you want to do self-care and keep going? Whatever you prefer.
I have no preference. 5 minutes. Let's do 5. We're going to move into our report discussion agenda. That's item F, and Dr. Maldonado will introduce item F1.
Thank you. Board members, these next two items are being presented as first readings of the proposed bylaw 9250, remuneration, reimbursement, and other benefits, as well as the second item, bylaw 9150, student board members. The purpose of these first readings is to introduce the policy, provide context and rationale, and allow board members to ask clarifying questions and offer initial feedback. No action is requested at this time. The proposed policies align with updated law. Staff is seeking board input to ensure the policy reflects the board's intent and values before returning for consideration of approval. Following tonight's discussion, staff will incorporate any board feedback and questions, conduct any additional review or stakeholder consultation, and return the policy for a second reading and possible action at a future meeting.
So with that introduction, I'd like to start with any questions, and then we'll have an opportunity.
So there's no public comment on this item?
Yes, I'm sorry, there is no public comment. And so any questions from board members or comments in regard to this first item? Okay, comment?
I think it's a very good idea because I think it makes serving on the board more achievable for more people. I think this is a very time-consuming and important, obviously important position where you can make a huge impact. But I think because the compensation has been so low, it is, people have been excluded from service. So I think that I definitely support this change to policy.
Mr. Escobedo.
I'll echo those same thoughts. I think that was also the spirit behind it, and I appreciate Ms. Caffrey's thoughts on that. A question I do have is, this is guidance from state law. I wonder if rather than, could we make a decision to tie it to state law in perpetuity so that as state law changes, it's not an action by the board, it's kind of separate from us?
We will research that and get back to you. I'm not sure if we have the answer to that quite yet.
I think one of the questions I'd ask relative to that is the portion of it that allows annual increases up to a certain percentage.
Yeah, I think it's 5%.
And so that language is very much about allows, so, but I think let's get some.
Yeah, I was just, the board policy in front of you, it says may receive the maximum monthly compensation as provided in the ed code, and so it is tying it to state law, but then in the next paragraph, it does say what it is currently at the time of, right now, adoption, which is $2,000. So I guess conceivably we could take out the $2,000 language, and then that would kind of make it an evergreen policy that would always be adjusting in accordance with ed code, is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's more of what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay. I have interest in that. And then it takes it out of our arena and kind of leaves it to the state.
Are there other comments or questions from the board? Let's move on to the second one, which is the student board board member policy.
There are no public comments on this item.
No comments. Do you want to do the introduction on this as well?
Yeah, basically it's the same introduction, and I know that we have had previous student board members. I know that Carlos is in the middle of his term. My recommendation when we bring this back to the board is that we consider doing retroactive to July. I know that Carlos and I have talked about elevating the importance of being a student board member in the school district, including how we elevate bringing more students to our student advisory council. So this could also similarly bring other students who may feel like they don't have the time to do something like this and bring up the importance of why it's a good idea to join this.
Comments from the board?
Again, I would highly support this. I think student voice is crucial, and our student board members have brought so much, and they should be compensated for their time. And that, as Superintendent Maldonado said, allowing any student to join, broadening the students who can participate is really important.
Mr. Escobedo.
I'll echo those same sentiments, and then also I support retroactive to July.
Dr. Beal?
I also support this policy. There was in the policy a description of the voting and how the student board member votes, and maybe our student board member would have an opinion. Currently, it states that the student board member will cast a vote before the other board members, which may or may not be something that's preferred by the student board member. Currently, they vote alongside us.
So that I think the language there refers to that as an advisory vote, and because the vote doesn't count, if he makes it at the same time we do, we're not really being advised. So I think that's the purpose behind voting first. Would you be comfortable using that protocol?
Yes, I would be comfortable. I think that's kind of the purpose behind the preferential vote.
Yeah.
And I think really the only at times when I think when there's an item that maybe I don't have the right expertise or knowledge to speak to or to vote on, then I'll recuse myself. But otherwise, I'll vote on what I feel is appropriate.
Good.
Yeah, you have the option to abstain. So I think moving forward, we should follow that process.
You know, it's funny. I appreciate that. When I first got on the board, I read that and didn't even see that the board member was voting, and it hadn't made any connection to me that advisory or preferential vote has no meaning unless you tell it you say it before we vote. All right, good. Any other comments or questions regarding this policy? All right, we will finish with that. We'll bring those back at the next meeting, and that leaves us to item Those were item Fs. This is item G. The item G is a board action on student discipline. Do I have a motion on this?
Yes, I move to approve board action on student discipline, Education Code 58918, case number 202526-11.
And a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous approval. And then the next is a petition on readmission of an expelled student.
I move to approve the petition for readmission of an expelled student, Education Code 48918, case number 202425-11.
Is there a second?
I second.
Discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. That will lead us to G3, the approval of a retirement incentive for eligible classified, certificated management, and confidential employees. Dr. Vecchio.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Banning, board members, Superintendent Maldonado. Bringing this item forward to you, just have a couple points to make as background. Currently, the district and in years past has offered a $1,500 early announcement incentive for certificated staff to announce their retirement. This had a lot to do with us being able to more accurately staff our schools for the coming school year. This idea to increase, and by the way, that $1,500 incentive amount will remain in effect for employees that are not eligible for this particular proposal. This idea for the increase to 15,000 proposal really came out of information, feedback that was received from multiple staff members about the need to, the desire to retire, they 63, 62, 64, but the need to retain health benefits until 65. And so the design of this was around really helping our 63, 64-year-old staff members be able to retire and help bridge them to the age 65. But we did include in the proposal eligible staff members that are 60 as of August last year. So it was an attempt to do that, but it also was an attempt it does actually have an impact on the district's budget. It will be a cost savings to the district as individuals are either not a need to replace them, or we do replace them and they're newer employees. I do want to recognize that whenever a district brings forward an incentive like this, we know that one of the downsides is that it does, we do see the effect that employees who have a great deal of experience, expertise, and knowledge, we know we're going to lose them maybe a year or two earlier than we might have. So I wanted to recognize that that's a consequence of these, and so we're going to be watching that and really trying to figure out how do we do our best to replace employees who are going to be leaving us with all that knowledge, skills, and expertise. I also want to thank SBTA President York Shingle and CSEA President Ken Rivas for their work in back and forth with me and helping really design the agreement and the contract and getting approval on that. I do want to also, before you consider this for approval, I want to announce that we would, upon board approval, put out messaging as early as tomorrow. That will go to certificated staff, and the reason we are going to hold off on communication with CSEA staff because board approval is one step, but we do have to wait for CSEA 610 approval process and for their membership ratification, and they are moving quickly to do that. And once they do that, we will immediately send out messaging to classified staff. And with that, I will turn it over to the board for any questions or comments that you might have about this item.
Are any questions from the board?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Any questions from the board or comments? Trustee Caffrey.
Thank you. My one question is, you mentioned that some of our most experienced teachers would be potentially taking this retirement incentive, and that we would want to make sure we retain their knowledge and wisdom. And I'm curious just how we would approach that.
Well, I want to first remind you that these are two agreements. One's for classified staff, and it also includes management and confidential and teaching staff. So I will admit that with teaching staff, it is, I am not sure how we're going to retain their expertise and experience. So that's probably not going to be something we're going to be able to do. We're going to get a new set of eyes and a fresh set of perspective around lesson planning and things like that from new employees, and that is beneficial to the organization. In the classified side, though, I have a list of all the employees, all the positions of eligible people, so we're going to be watching who takes that, and Dr. Maldonado and I have been talking about a plan for making sure that there's either training that could happen. We could pay outgoing employees to help onboard the new employees, or have training manuals that are designed to help when that new employee takes over. We also may see current employees that have experience in lower level positions move into those classified positions. So again, replacing a teacher experience and expertise, I don't really have an answer for that, though. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Dr. Beal.
This is kind of an off-the-cuff question because I don't quite understand contracts and all that other stuff. In a similar way, I know that sometimes for retirement, people just want to work less. And I know that we have that option within our contract system that if people want to work less but they can't work just a little bit. I wonder if, we have room for our experienced teachers who don't want to work all the time to be part of our substitute teacher pool. I think that could be something that could be beneficial to the district, and I don't know if we try to do that or not.
We do. They do have a time period where they cannot work for the districts. I believe it's 6 months.
Yeah, 180 days.
Yeah.
And that's a STIRS regulation that comes out of some abuses that happened a decade or so ago with people figuring out how to retire and keep working at the same time. So there have been times when it has been waived because of emergency need and such, but anything else?
I'm going to move to approve the retirement incentive for eligible classified, certificated management, and confidential employees.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Well, we haven't changed the policy yet. How was that for dodging a bullet? We should have you practice on the next one. A non-binding vote. How's that? All right. That brings us to item H, acceptance of donations for January 13th.
I'll move to approve to accept donations for January 13th, 2026 with gratitude.
Any questions, or did you have things to remove?
Not for this one.
No. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm ahead of myself. Donations. Yep. Did we have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Without removing any of those donations. All right. Now we get to the consent agenda.
We have one public comment.
Okay. Do you want to do your...
Just to be clear, I'm going to be asked to remove item
Was there a specific item?
I2, number 2. So the second item in I2, and also I12.
All right, so we have a public comment.
Yes, we have a public comment on I6, and it is by Regina, and I think this is maybe Sabins? Regina Sabins.
Hi, my name is Regina Sabins, and I am an art teacher at McKinley School and McCleveland Elementary School. I just want to say I'm here to say thank you for this consent and for us allowing us this opportunity to go to this conference. It's a National Arts Educator. I don't know.
Press the button.
Press the button. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. The approval was for National Art Educators Association Conference. I just want to say thank you because this is important for us as educators to learn, to network, to grow our expertise in art and to become advocates and to increase our cultural relevance and our national relevance. NAEA has been a big part, a major role for the national arts standards, and we, in the state of California, NAEA plays a big role in creating the California art standards as well. So this is a really great opportunity for us. The committee itself represents 50 teachers from all 50 states that come together and network through this time. So thank you again for that and just for this time. I really appreciate and hope that we can continue to go to these PDs each year. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda as amended or other comments?
Oh, I had one I'd like to pull for a question.
Okay.
But I always do this, and I apologize. I didn't write down the.
I think your question is about the item I already pulled,
yeah.
which is the
perfect. Yeah.
TK
Oh, thank you. You were.
iPads.
Oh, yes.
So I already
Thank you.
pulled it.
Oh, beautiful.
Is that item 2?
Item 2, I2, item number 2 under I2.
Oh, okay.
I will move to approve the consent agenda with the exception of I2, item 2, and I12.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda passes as amended unanimously. And that's a wrap.
So my question is basically, I thought that what we did is that we could ask questions on the item that, oh no, we can't?
They have to be pulled.
I see, so
Right.
they're pulled and then brought back, is that?
So we pulled it because we know we need to add more information to those items. So if we decide to bring it forward, we'll bring it at another meeting. So you did not approve it tonight.
Okay, so there's a difference in what we're talking about, pulling it out so that we talk about it versus removing it from the agenda, which is what the superintendent did. Okay.
And future agenda items, I
Okay.
know that, can I add?
Yes, future agenda items.
Gabe had mentioned this in his board comments, having a discussion about the letters curriculum and having a board discussion about how to encourage our staff to complete this curriculum because it is very important to our literacy priority.
Is that something that we want, okay, so now I'm trying to remember, if we want to say yes and vote on this as a board, we can put that on automatically, or we can leave it to discussion of agenda planning? Help me make the right choice
So my
here.
understanding is if the board is wanting to make it a mandatory or wants to have that discussion, I can meet with some of you if you want to draft some language to bring to the next meeting, if you want to do it that way, or we can have a discussion, then create the language and then vote on it.
Yeah, I think that's right. And in terms of how to get it on the next agenda, the first step is to ask President Banning and Superintendent Maldonado if they are aligned, because they make the first call, and if they don't want to put it on the agenda, then you would bring it during this section of the meeting for a vote.
For at the next
Yeah.
meeting, okay. So there's a request for this to be added to a future agenda.
Can we ask, are you aligned?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
So just to be clear, I need direction from the board. If your interest is to have us draft language to bring to discuss, or have a discussion, and then from that discussion, we create language to bring to approve. So that would be one meeting versus 2 additional meetings.
May I just ask a question about the presentation, which clarifies whether I need 1 or 2 meetings? Did they say that 70 teachers were interested? Like, oh, no, 17. Oh, okay, got it. Thank you.
My inclination is that we draft language, and that should be some people meeting with our intent, and then we discuss it and we refine it. I feel that if we start with a discussion, that could be very wide-ranging, and it should be focused.
And so I would like to know which one of you or 2 would like to meet with me to help you, well, with me and Joanna to do that.
I would be happy to do so.
I'm happy to do so as well.
Okay. So the direction has been to meet with the superintendent and council to draft language to bring forward to a subsequent board meeting, presumably our next one.
Yes.
Is there time to do it before then? Yeah.
We will make time. We'll work on a schedule.
All right.
And, well, I was just going to say, if it turns out that we need more time, we can, I think, push it till the following meeting. I can't imagine these changes happen this school year. Right?
Yes, and I believe that with the money we've set aside and the fact that it's starting in February, we might be able to send a message that we were interested in having that done, depending on what the draft of the language looks like. We might be able to get more people started sooner and into this first cohort, because it's really all our schedule design. And then we've also looked at dates with the August Professional Learning Day, so that might get us into a second cohort. So the sooner we do it, we believe, if the board decides to go that direction, I'm going to stay neutral, and then the faster we can get moving on those 2 cohorts.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other items? I'm call the meeting at 8:27.
The party for Kenya, yeah?